That rhythmic, two-bladed thump, thump, thump is inseparable from the history of the Vietnam War. It is a sound that signaled a total departure from traditional ground warfare, introducing a level of vertical mobility that did not exist in previous conflicts. The Bell UH-1 Iroquois, the Huey, moved the helicopter from a specialized role in rescue and reconnaissance to the center of American military tactics. Before its arrival, rotary wing aircraft were primarily small, piston-driven machines with limited lifting capacity. The Huey enabled a system where troops could be inserted, resupplied, and reinforced entirely from the sky. It replaced the reliance on static front lines with a doctrine of air mobility, allowing the military to strike at times and places of its own choosing, regardless of the terrain below. If you want to see more deep dives into the engineering that defines military history, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. This shift was a response to the geography of Vietnam. The landscape is a mix of triple canopy jungle, steep mountains, and flooded rice paddies that effectively swallow trucks whole. An army designed for the open plains of Europe found its tanks and heavy armor trapped by a near-total lack of usable roads. The Huey first demonstrated its value in the Dustoff role. These medical evacuation flights used vertical lift to pull casualties directly from the jungle. These unarmed aircraft often flew into hot landing zones, providing a promise that any wounded soldier could be on a surgeon's table in less than an hour. This was possible because the Huey was the first mass-produced helicopter to use a gas turbine engine. This gave it the power and reliability to operate in high heat and heavy altitudes while carrying significant loads, capabilities that older piston engines lacked. As these medical flights successfully bypassed the jungle to save lives, tactical planners began evaluating if that same mobility could be used to move combat-ready squads directly into the engagement. This evaluation led to the creation of the 1st Cavalry Division. For the first time, helicopters allowed infantry to leapfrog over rivers and enemy positions, dropping soldiers exactly where the fight was most intense. These troop carriers were known as slicks. To maximize their passenger load, they were stripped of heavy armor and internal weaponry. However, their 100-inch wide fuselages presented a massive target to ground gunners, leaving the Hueys highly vulnerable during the slow process of landing and takeoff. To protect the slicks, crews began bolting M60 machine guns and rocket pods onto the sides of standard Hueys to create escorts called hogs. These improvised gunships circled the landing zones to suppress enemy fire while the troops disembarked. The hog was an imperfect compromise. Adding thousands of pounds of weaponry to a wide utility frame created excessive drag. These gunships became too sluggish to keep pace with the lighter troop transports they were intended to protect. The limits of field-modified transports had been reached. True air-mobile warfare required a platform designed from the ground up to deliver fire support rather than passengers. Bell Helicopter responded by developing the AH-1 Cobra, the world's first dedicated attack helicopter. To meet the Army's urgent demand, Bell utilized the Huey's proven mechanical core. The Cobra used the same engine, transmission, and rotor system, which reduced development time and allowed the military to use their existing maintenance and supply networks. While the internals were familiar, the airframe was a radical departure. Engineers removed the wide troop cabin and compressed the fuselage to just 36 inches. This tandem seating arrangement, placing the pilot directly behind the gunner, shrunk the target profile by more than 60%. This slim design allowed for higher speeds and integrated weaponry. It featured a chin-mounted turret for miniguns and grenade launchers, alongside stub wings for rocket pods, creating a platform optimized for offensive fire support. The Cobra's speed and firepower enabled a tactical shift known as the Pink Team Hunter-Killer Doctrine. The Hunter was typically a light OH-6 Loach. It would fly as low as 10 feet above the treetops at slow speeds to troll for fire, deliberately drawing enemy attention to mark their hidden positions with smoke. Once the target was marked, the Cobra, orbiting 1,500 feet above, would dive at high speed to deliver what crews called instant retribution. Its agility allowed it to neutralize threats before the scout helicopter could be overwhelmed. The introduction of the Cobra standardized this offensive role. It moved the helicopter from a defensive transport role to an active strike platform that could hunt and engage armor and fortified positions. The pairing of the Huey and Cobra changed the composition of the modern Army. By the end of the conflict, more than 5,000 helicopters were operating in Vietnam, proving that rotary wing aircraft were a core component of combined arms operations. This evolution created the framework for modern air assault. It established that a military could use helicopters to bypass traditional defenses and deliver fire support more responsively than traditional tube artillery. You can see this lineage in today's hardware. The tandem seating and narrow profile of the Cobra set the standard for the AH-64 Apache and the AH-1Z Viper, which continue to use the hunter-killer tactics pioneered in the 1960s. Driven by the specific challenges of the Vietnam jungle, the transition from utility transport to purpose-built gunship established the attack helicopter as a permanent fixture of aerial combat. Thank you everyone for your time and participation. If you enjoyed this video, please politely like, share, and subscribe to Global Warwatch Network. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comment section below, and be sure to join us on social media. All the links are provided in the description. See you next time.